Hi, AJ Hartley here, novelist, Shakespeare professor, baby metal fan, and I'm doing something that I don't normally do, which is to add a short postscript to a video that I already posted. One of the nature of the internet, I guess, is that when something is hot, everybody responds very quickly, and then they stop paying attention. So, sometimes I feel pressure to respond to a song as soon as it comes out. And sometimes it would be better if I waited a little bit to get more information. But by then, the conversation has moved on. Anyway, so I posted a video about Metali, which is the baby metal song that they did with Tom Morello. And most of what's in that video I think is solid, and people responded well to it. But I did get some observations and comments from people that made me think a little bit more about the song and add a couple of things that I think are useful. And particularly I was also pressed by a Japanese fan who will remain nameless, who's telling me that I need to make sure that that the American and Canadian fans know how to respond to this song in performance. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that just to clarify a couple of things. So the first thing that I was struck by is that a couple of people pointed out the similarity between this song and an old song by a sort of Showa enka pop singer called Misora Hibari, who was working in the sort of post-war era, died in like 1989, and she has a song called Omatsuri Mambo. It's not the only one of its kind, but there are songs periodically that center on Japanese festivals. This is one of them, and I saw this reference and I checked it out, and I was kind of amazed actually by the obvious overlap between this old song and the baby metal song. So this song was recorded in 1952. So, a little over 70 years ago. And it's kind of amazing. So, and you can see, again, the trappings of the festival, including the shrine that everybody's been carrying, and particularly the repetition of those phrases that are sung out to encourage the audience, particularly washoi, 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 and sore, sore, sore. And these feature prominently in the song. They've featured in previous baby metal songs, and they're going to be essential for the audience to join in, because that's the purpose of the baby metal Metali song, right? It's about getting the audience involved to lift up the band, and the band to lift up the audience. That means we have to do our part, which is singing the backing vocal, washoi, 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 and sore, sore, sore. And dokoi sho, that's a slightly trickier one. Washoi, 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 dokoi sho. And again, these are sort of general encouraging song sounds that go particularly with this festival behavior. And as I was saying in the previous video, I think it's really interesting that the band are going out of their way to connect to old stuff and then to sort of make it contemporary. So, the old stuff, obviously, in terms of these festivals, goes back hundreds of years, but also the celebration of them in popular culture in the modern era, in the post-World War II era, is audible in a song like Omatsuri Mambo. And then the way that this song, this incarnation of it, makes it more contemporary, more inclusive, more metal, in bringing that stuff into the present, making the tradition something that lives, which I think is cool. The other thing that was pointed out to me is that I talked last time about the way that Momoko does that little kabuki interlude in the center of the song, which ends with a mie, that sort of striking pose. What I didn't know at the time, because there had been no video of it, was that while she's doing that, Sue and Moa flank her behind and sit down on the stage and seem to be playing instruments. Now, this is very clearly imitative of kabuki and no and kyogen, right? Where we have these jikata, that's what they're called, the instrumentalists, who are in the back of the stage and playing their instruments. They seem to be imitating the tsuzumi players, which is like a drum. But they're clearly, again, doing this sort of very traditional form, slightly parodically, slightly playfully. But again, it's a way of saying this is an old tradition, an old art form, which we are making contemporary, which we're bringing into the present. So I thought that was really neat, so we're seeing that. Now, the other thing I would say is that if you know anything about kabuki, that you will sometimes have the audience respond, and they respond with applause, but they also respond by shouting out, and they do it in these mie moments, that moment where the actor strikes a particular pose and does that sort of swagger, this sort of shake as they sort of take that stance and hold it, and the audience will shout out. They don't shout out bravo or something like that like they do in the Western theatre, nor do they shout the name of the performer. What they shout out is the name of the training school which the actor attended. Right? And these are sort of old traditional institutions, like sort of family institutions almost, that produce a stable of actor talent. So to celebrate the actors doing this particularly dramatic moment, the sort of high point of their craft as a kabuki actor, the audience will shout the name of the house which trained them. So it seems to me that when Momoko does her kabuki thing, everybody should shout Sakura, as in Sakura Gakuen, right? Gakuen meaning school, but Sakura Gakuen meaning the place where she trained and where all the performers on stage trained. So that's my proposal, that when they do this song and she gets to the mie at the end of her kabuki moment, when she strikes that pose, we should shout Sakura.
Metali! Metali!
So that's it. That's all I'm going to say. End of footnote. See, once an academic, always an academic. As ever, please like, comment, subscribe, check out my books, particularly Hideki Smith, Demon Queller. If you like baby metal, you will like this book. I almost guarantee it. Anyway, all right, cheers. Talk to you soon. Bye.